Today's video, we're gonna be reviewing the campaign settings that you should be using for your YouTube ad campaigns in 2023 if you're looking to drive conversions. So with all the changes that are happening around contextual targeting, all the changes that are happening with Google, there are a lot of uncertainty of what should I do? How should I set up my campaigns for YouTube ad success, right? So what settings should I apply for my ad group on the campaign level? Different things that you need to take into account, but a lot of it is you need to review your offer, you need to review your objectives from a conversion perspective, right? What are you looking to accomplish and how you can adapt to it. If you're still asking what campaign objective should I be using sales, leads, campaign without a goals guidance, there is a video that we actually rolled out and it's gonna be up here that you can check that out. When it comes to understanding the campaign settings, which ones are the right ones to use, you need to really understand that with YouTube ads, there are changes. There have been changes being rolled out. So I'm gonna dive into my screen so we can actually elaborate this a little bit better. So in this screen, you guys are gonna see the campaign objectives. Again, you can do sales and you still be able to use the drive conversion, or you could do create a campaign without a goals guidance. It's totally up to you. It really doesn't matter, as Rafael said in our previous video. You can take a look at that. But it does matter from a perspective of understanding what you're trying to accomplish, right? When it comes to YouTube campaigns, we normally select this, create campaign without a goals guidance, and depending on the objective. So let's take a step back here and really understand, what are you trying to accomplish? You need to ask yourself that. What am I trying to accomplish with my YouTube ad campaign? Am I trying to grow a YouTube channel, trying to get more views on specific videos? Or mainly, a lot of you guys have different offers online, you're trying to get conversion. This would be the typical campaign subtype that you want to go for that particular objective, right? So obviously the naming convention, we've talked about this plenty of times. You would definitely want to do it set up in a proper way. I think we're already past that. Locations, depending on where your market is, same thing. If you're targeting in Europe, then you want to go into another location. This is where you can do that. Very straightforward. So let's move down here. Language, same thing. Bid strategy, right? So remember, the drive conversion subtype is only going to be giving you these two types. A lot of folks that are in our groups and in other forums, they are bringing up the fact that they're doing maximum CPV, they're doing, target CPM campaigns, but a lot of them start complaining about not getting enough conversion. As of lately, because they can't use the keyword targeting on the video campaigns, they can't use these placements, they're kind of obligated to use all these other bidding strategies, right? And then they start to wonder, like, why aren't things working for me, right? One thing you understand is Google is basically making this to more automated, right? The bidding strategies, these are automated bidding strategies, max conversions and target CPA. Target CPA is you're a little bit more in control, but at the end of the day, what is Google pushing to? Google is motivating advertisers to create better content, better advertising. Great creative is key if you want to overcome all these obstacles about limitations with targeting. I wanted to take a break to really emphasize that. Normally when we're starting out, we're still selecting max conversion, so that hasn't really changed. And then from there, you can go to target CPA. There are a lot of people out there, they'll start with target CPA. That's fine. At times it won't fire, especially if you don't have historical data on your account. If you have historical data on your account, then you can do target CPA and you just basically play with that bid. If it's not spending its full budget, then you raise it up by 20-25%. If it's spending it, then leave it at that, right? And especially if it's getting conversions. If it's not, then you might want to have a campaign, your first initial campaigns, to be max conversions until you have enough conversions where you can say, okay, I'm going to transition to target CPAs. When it comes to the budget and dates, you do definitely want to select daily budget as well, unless you have a particular reason for just doing a campaign total budget, if it's a limited offer, right? So you guys know how to set that up here. Okay, in terms of networks, so remember, with the drive conversion subtype, you will be obligated to advertise on all these networks. There's just no way around it. That's been the case for the past year. These are the content exclusions, obviously. This is something that we talked about. You can no longer do anything regarding to that, right? Site links, obviously, these are things that you can use you can create on your Google search side of things, and you can select those options to show up on your YouTube ad campaign, right? So these will normally show up, let's see here, like around at the bottom of the video here, right? So you can still use those site links. Do we recommend to use them? Sure, in instances you can use them. It has improved certain click-through rates, but it's not a necessity. But if you have other pages on your site, if you have a review page specifically that you want to send people to, maybe that will probably help get you more conversions, okay? All right, when we go to additional settings, again, here, when it comes to devices, these are just just now we're talking testing points, right? So at the beginning, if you want to include everything, then I would just include computer, mobile tablets. I would not do TV screens, right? So very rare somebody will watch an ad, you know, even if they have the smart TV, they have the YouTube going, very rare that they will say, okay, send to my phone, right? It gives you the option to send the ad to your phone, and you know, it depends. If you're doing branding, then you might want to leave it on, right? That's totally fine. So I would start with these three. So frequency capping, in our course, we do talk about having some frequency capping on your campaigns. Specifically nowadays, it doesn't really matter as much. For cold prospecting, we're usually leaving this not at none, or we do the standard where it's basically, you know, the amount of times that the campaign or that the ads in that campaign show to that same user. We usually do 3 impressions per week and 2 views per month. Those are usually our frequency caps. But again, nowadays, we also like to try no cap. And for our remarketing campaigns, we do have a little stricter guidelines, and we'll, you know, we want to limit the amount of time. So that way it doesn't become too saturated for that person, right? Too overwhelming and repetitive for that person won't see the same ads. So we're gonna leave that at none for now. Ad schedule all day, we don't really mess with that unless, you know, you have a specific schedule, or even Google tells you this in the recommendation. Hey, a lot of your users are clicking the ads during this time period, right? Or your ads are mainly shown around this time period, right? So this is totally up to you, to how you see fit, but we normally leave it all day. Third-party measurement, we don't worry about that right now. This is the ad group. Again, make sure you label it properly, right? If you have an audience, a specific audience, that you want to label it with that audience in there, right? If it's an in-market, just put in-market, financial services, just for organization purposes, same thing. This is where you kind of create an audience. So now this is very different from your custom segment. That's why before you create the campaign, if you're looking to create a custom intent audience and a custom affinity audience, you need to go to the audience manager. So I would open another tab before I do this. Before you even get into this campaign settings, you want to go into your audience manager and create those segments. Okay, so the custom segments here, this is what you're going to be using to launch, right? So because if you create an audience here, these audiences basically are going to be saved on the account level. So you'll notice that even when you use it on the Google Ads Editor, which by the way, we do have a video on how to launch campaigns using the Google Ads Editor. We'll leave the link up here. So this is one of the major settings, obviously, is the audience. How are we going to set up the audiences for the campaign creation process? So the way that you want to do this is you want to go to the audience manager and go to custom segments. Here you have the opportunity to create a purchase intent audience and a custom intent based off Google search terms, right? So these are, let's say, the replacements of those keyword campaigns, right? So this is where you need to get creative with that and not really say, oh, you know, we can no longer do contextual targeting, I can't do keyword campaigns. No, but you can add the keywords into a custom intent audience that you can do and put that to the test. You know, that's how we would do it. That's how we've been doing it. And like I said, we've been getting results in that from that aspect. So that's the option. There's that you create the audience, and here, you know, you can select the custom segments that you created basically. Okay. And you could essentially create, let's say, a combined audience here where you're using your data, right? Because nowadays, like, again, Google is recommending you to, if you want to automate, even this update, I'm not going to spoil it for the other video, but similar audiences are going to be removed, right? You're no longer going to be able to do similar audiences by, I think, August and May of next year. So there won't be auto-created on your account. We have a video about this. This is where Google is heading to is, you know, we're going to be automating, right? So we wanted you to use the optimized targeting, which I know that's another topic that we've talked about as well, of why you shouldn't use it for specific accounts. When it comes to these audiences and these audience creation, notice that they're asking you to use your data, right? When you use your data, it does combine it with your cold audience as well. So you can definitely do it that way. You know, you might be surprised to get the results that you're looking for if you want to try it that way. But here's where you could exclude the remarketing list as well. So let's say, you know, you don't want to use any remarketing, you just want to do cold. This is how you would do it. You know, demographics, same thing. And basically, you know, you save that audience. Now, optimized targeting, by default, it will show up here. So on the ad group level, you're gonna want to remove that. Once this campaign is live, you're going to need to turn that off if you don't want that optimized targeting option to be there, right? And again, for particular high ticket offers, we don't recommend it because it will generate lower quality people to your particular funnel, right? So that is something that you want to take into account. Obviously, you're at the ad, and that's pretty much the process, okay? And these are the campaign settings, guys. There's really no, you know, not hard science here. It's, you know, following the steps that's working right now. And usually the drive conversions for anybody that's looking to get leads, to get sales, book calls, right? Those type of funnels, this would be the strategy that you want to use for this upcoming year. Unless there's other changes coming and updates coming from Google, that's what we recommend. Remember that we have other videos related to your campaign setup, your structure, so you can take a look at those videos up here as well. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications to get notified once we drop some more YouTube ad and digital marketing knowledge your way.